Good day, Mrs. Rachel. I'm glad to meet you today, despite so many trials over time. I'm really, it's a real pleasure to meet you this time around.
Thank you very much, sir.
My name is Akile.
Oh, you're welcome.
You understand we've been trying to reach you over time because we have some questions that could help a friend, a brother in a particular project topic. So these very questions are very important. It is all about your company, and the manager said you are the supervisor. You will be in good space to attend to some of these questions as a supervisor in Femdan Transco company. So without wasting much time,
Thank you.
I beg your pardon to proceed on my question. I have list of questions here.
Okay. No problem, you can proceed.
All right, thank you so much. Number one question I say, how do you approach your role as a supervisor in Femdan Transport Company? Your role.
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi. As supervisor in Femdan and Transport Company, I focus on ensuring efficient communication, um, and a positive working environment, and I also focus on ensuring efficient coordination among my team members as well.
All right, thank you so much. It's very important. I like that answer.
Thank you.
Number two question besides, can you describe a typical day to day outrun of your responsibility or the responsibility you have as a supervisor, a day to day?
Okay, as a supervisor, a typical day-to-day routine as supervisor in the company is I make sure to oversee team activities. I address employees' consent, and then I ensure collaborating with all departments to streamline operations as well. Yes, I think those are like my day-to-day routine and activities as supervisor. Yes, thank you.
All right. The next question here is very important for a supervisor, I guess. Uh, it says, what strategy do you employ to motivate and manage your employee in this organization?
That's a very good question, Mr. Femi. In my company here, actually, it lies a combination of recognition among my team member, and I also encourage clear communication. If any of you are having issues with each other, you should be able to open your mouth and talk. Like I encourage clear communication. You have to talk. You have to talk, and as well, we do this mentorship class for any of the members that is having problem one way or the other. You can speak to someone can mentor you, and there's one thing we call employee motivation here as well, where we pay our employee, we give them bonuses if they work very well for the month, if they work harder for that month. And I think I've answered that question, sir.
Oh, well, it's very good and explicit. True. Without wasting much time because of your time that we got, let me go to the next one. The next question here is, how do you ensure that your team adhere to the company's standard procedures and policies?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. Like I said in the earlier question, I said we ensure clear communication among the team. And aside that, we do a regular training sessions, which encourage them, which reminds them about the company's policies and procedures. And aside that, we monitor them consistently. Yes, we monitor them consistently, and then to help them, adhere to the um, company's policy and procedures. So those are some measures we take to, ensure they apply to the company's procedure and policies. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. The next question I would like to ask is, very important. As you see, I am trying to take it one by one and explicit, which I want you to be explicit in your answer as well. He said, can you share an example of a situation where you had to enforce a company's policy on procedure in a particular situation? Can you just remember a time where you have to enforce company policy no matter the situation or the scenario?
Okay. In a recent incident, yeah, something happened between a driver and one of the passenger, and I was not there, but it got to me, and I had to, like, I had to address a violation of safety protocols. I had to address that violation. I had to address it, like I was forced to address it, because I suppose you go through regular training section and should have known this policy. This policy should have been your number one thing you think of whenever you're on the job. But this happened and it was so fast because I wasn't there. Like I said, I wasn't there, and it came to me, and I had to, like, you know make sure that I forced the safety protocol on violation. And then I also, there's this time again that I also had to implement corrective measures, and then reinforce the importance of adherence, because I did not this incident actually occur when I least expected, because I expected more from the driver. Yes, I expected more from the driver. So
That means they want to, in a way, they want to violate the rights of a passenger.
yes,
So you had to make sure that, didn't you know that this is what you are supposed to do? This is in the rules and regulation of the company before you were
exactly,
employed.
exactly.
And you have to do this.
Yes,
Then at the end, were you able to get your final say? Were you able to correct the necessary impression?
yes. I actually did that. I did that, and well, I wanted to. I asked the driver to write the query, and then I wanted to suspend the driver for some time, but then, you know, I just gave him a stern warning, and since then, thank God, he's been doing better now.
Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much. Without wasting time, I would like to go to the next question here, which says, how do you handle performance and evaluation and let's say paid back service with your team members?
Okay.
Yes.
How I handle performance and feedback section with
Payback.
my team
Yes.
members. Okay. I conduct regular performance evaluations, and I also provide constructive feedback, and then discuss areas of improvement within the team. Like, um, you know, after some, let's say at every end of the month, we gather together. Every end of the month, that's every last Friday of the month. There's what we do something called TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. So aside from getting them to talk about their experience in that month, getting feedback from them, and then, getting to know getting to know what they experienced in that month, we gather together. We jolly a little bit, just a mini party. Then we talk a lot. We talk about their experience for that month, um, where they went wrong, where something went wrong, and where needs improvement as well. So that's how I get feedback from them.
All right. Thank you so much. The next question is, what are some challenges you face as a supervisor in Femdan Transco company?
Oh, that's a very big question. Um, Well, the first and foremost challenge I face is, you know, managing varies of personalities. We have different people with different personalities. There are some they get angry easily, some have mood swing, you know, some are some are insultive. I mean, sometimes they try to be calm when they are around me, or when they are around
Mm.
senior management,
You see the
senior
aggression in
managers.
them as well.
But outside that, there's something else. And I also face a challenge that has to do with consistent performance. Consistent performance, like some of them are not consistent. Like some of them, they'll perform well today, tomorrow they'll perform otherwise. So I mean, those are the two most important challenges I face as a supervisor.
No. Okay. Okay. I guess we need more experience. Some things you face in your daily supervising. So many people, like you said. I remember a particular time I I had to face a particular driver in a way, though not under Transco, Femdan Transco company. Particularly maybe Izuchuku bus at that time going to East. The driver, when the supervisor were asking them to make sure they go along with the security in the first place, they used to go with two security personnel there. But this man said that one is okay because their journey is going to be during the day, not during night. And the supervisor said, you don't used to disobey me like this. That day, this mood swing is so different. They had to um,
Change.
change, invite him to the office. And later, we now heard that he and the wife had a particular serious quarrel that morning. That he doesn't want to travel during night, and at the same time want to cut some. No, I said the supervisor
Is the
will be
person from Transco?
facing. No, I said it's Suchuku.
Oh,
It's not under Transco company. I was traveling and I see the challenges the supervisors were facing. That was why I said they had a lot to do managing different personalities, most
okay.
especially some professionals. Some professionals, is serious.
Okay,
Thank you so
okay.
much.
I
Thank you so
understand.
much
I
for that.
understand what you're trying to say, but in Transcorp, we highly train our team. We train them to an extent that, oh, we are professional in this. Like, we train them as a professional on the job. So the challenges we face here in Transcorp company is not really, 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 really much like that. Aside from the one I mentioned earlier. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. The next question here is can you share an example of specific challenges you successfully address in your role? Because that was what I was trying to gear towards at that time. We need an example of a challenges you face, perhaps between driver, conductor, perhaps between those that had to do with luggage, and I don't know.
Okay. Okay. There's this one time that driver. Okay, let me just use driver A and driver B. Let me just use an example. So there's this one time that driver A was supposed to go on a journey to the north, and unfortunately for driver A, something I think some just like what you said about the Uzochukwu transport company, something happened at home, and then on getting to work that very day, I was supposed to take some passengers to the north, and I don't know what really ensued between him and the passenger and their luggages. But I was called upon, and then I went there, and I went to supervise what went wrong. So on getting to the scene, I got to know that my driver actually wanted to deliver some external goods to somebody. I think I get to know that the goods was for his wife. His wife actually sent him the goods for personal reasons, inconveniencing my own passengers. The people that are meant to sit comfortable, you are inconveniencing them, and this shouldn't be. So I have to make sure I take the luggages away. If you want to send luggages to your location, you can pay for a seat or send it where you know that one of our drivers are going, because sometimes we do logistics delivery as well. So you can send it to our logistics delivery, not putting it where passengers are going to sit, and that is very wrong. So I have to resolve that issue, make sure the passengers are comfortable, and we because it's our due to is our employee, so we have to sort it out, send his wife goods through one of our logistic team. So that was how I handled the case.
Thank you so much. The next question is as well a little bit close to this very one you answer. It says, how do you handle conflict or disagreement among team members?
Sorry.
When two are having issues,
Okay.
maybe driver and conductor, maybe is personnel, security personnel,
Is it
and
disagreements
conductor or
in your
driver.
midst?
Yes. How do you handle them?
Okay, one thing I have adapted to for a long time is open communication. You say your own part, and then we trash things out, and then we come back together. So in everywhere, in every company, there's no way we won't deal with disagreements and conflicts. So aside that, in Femdan Transco, we have HR, a conflict team that attend to conflict. So as a supervisor, I do my own part, but if it is more than my power, I refer them to the HR.
Okay.
So the HR will do their job, and yes, so that is how we handle the conflict among the members.
All right, thank you. The next question says, how do you tailor your leadership style? To address specific issues or challenges?
Okay, actually it depends on the challenge at hand.
Most especially to boost team morale.
Yes, it depends on the challenge at hand. There's one thing I like at the end of the day, if any of my drivers are having issue within themselves, what I like to do at the end of the day is, after them I will leave them. I'll make sure each of them address the situation. If you want to shout, if you want to cry, just trash things out and make sure they trash things out within themselves, and say your own part. At the end of the day, I cultivate one habit which I made them do by force by fire. It is called hug it out.
Okay.
Hug it out.
By fire, by force.
I'm your supervisor. You have to do what I want you to do.
Either hug and shake.
Yes. No, not shaking. No.
They must hug.
They must hug. So I make them hug themselves at the end of the day. And I talk to the first party personally, apologize on behalf of the second party, talk to the second party personally as well, apologize on behalf and all that, and tell them what they can do to have a better relationship between themselves.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, how do you involve your team in problem solving that makes the process very easy?
Okay.
Maybe how you bring, maybe if Mr. A, Mr. B is having issue, how do you involve maybe Mr. C to help in solving the issue? Or let me say, perhaps you have somebody that can an eyewitness in the situation. How do you involve them Or maybe when you have an issue, how do you involve some of your team member to solve the issue?
Okay, aside settling
Perhaps on your behalf, or when they are out of wish.
okay, aside settling for example, driver A and driver B engage in an heated argument. Aside hearing from this side and hearing from this side, and solving the disagreement and all that, I there's if sometimes if this is too much for me to handle, I involve their team members. I encourage team in making decisions. I encourage decision making among the teams, like I seeking relevant inputs among the team. Okay, for example, driver A and driver B get engaged in an argument or fight or something, and then I call their closest friends in the team, because now in every organization there's one group of people that are closer to each other. You understand? So I call their colleagues, like their closest person, and tell them, ask them about what happened, and ask them their own opinion concerning the issue, and how can it be easily resolved. So I also call all the team together, because sometimes they sometimes they have an argument. They say that some team will not be talking to some team. Some team will just they'll just beat themselves, and some will beat themselves, not talking to each other. I mean, this is a company, not your home, not your house.
Wow.
No, this is a company. You all have to work together, right? So sometimes I always call all of them together. Especially, and let me tell you one funny thing. Yeah, some of them, they have oga. You know what the guys? Some of them have oga, like driver A, B, C, D, E, driver F, G, H, Kenny. They have oga. One of them will have boss. Association, God bless you, association lead, and it look like it's that one that is leading them, and they want to like resolve matter. They want to take matters into their own hands, like take judgment into their own hands and everything. But I make sure I call all of them together. This is not your company. You are here to work. This is not a caucus. This is not a cult
Where there will be social
where there will be
solidarity,
enmities
yeah.
in between one group and the other. You all have to work together. So I'll make sure each and every one of them say their opinion. What do you think about this case? What do you think about this case? Let everybody just talk, and then we trash this together, and then I just make them have this sense of